There's a quiet truth most men never realize until it's too late. A woman doesn't decide you're unsafe emotionally because you did something extreme. It's usually the small things, the patterns, the reactions you don't even notice in yourself. And here's the uncomfortable part. Mature women are not looking for perfection. They're looking for emotional stability they can feel in your presence. So if she slowly starts pulling away, becoming colder, less expressive, it's not random. It's data. What if the very things you think make you look interested are actually broadcasting emotional instability? And what if she's already labeled you as emotionally unsafe without ever telling you? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might explain patterns you've been repeating for years without realizing it. In this video, we're breaking down 6 subtle behaviors that signal emotional unsafety to mature women. Not toxic masculinity myths, not manipulation tactics, but real psychological patterns based on attachment theory, emotional regulation research, and relationship dynamics. By the end, you'll understand something most men never learn. It's not about being good enough. It's about whether your nervous system feels predictable, grounded, and self-controlled in her presence. And once you see this clearly, you stop guessing why women lose interest and start understanding the pattern behind attraction itself. Let's go deep. It usually starts innocently. You meet her, things feel good, and suddenly you're always available. You reply instantly. You initiate every conversation. You adjust your entire day around her responses. At first, she enjoys it, but something shifts. She starts replying slower, shorter messages, less warmth. Why? Because psychologically, this triggers what's called emotional saturation. When there's no space, no contrast, no uncertainty, attraction loses oxygen. Mature women don't feel safer with constant access to you. They feel pressure, responsibility, even subtle emotional burden. Here's the practical shift. You don't withdraw to play games. You withdraw to maintain internal balance. You stay present, but not consumed. Presence without dependency is what creates emotional safety. And this is where most men unknowingly overextend and start losing her interest. But that's just the beginning. Transition. Because there's another behavior that looks completely different, but feels even more unsafe to her nervous system. Imagine this. She takes a little longer to reply. You feel a shift inside. You check your phone more. Your mood drops slightly. Then you send another message, just to check in. From your perspective, it feels like concern. From her nervous system, it feels like instability. This is emotional reactivity, when your internal state is controlled by external signals. In attachment psychology, this aligns with anxious activation. And mature women pick up on it instantly, even if they don't consciously name it, because what she experiences is not your words, it's your emotional volatility. The solution is not suppression, it's regulation. Pause before reacting. Let emotions settle before responding. Build a gap between trigger and action. A man who can stay steady when nothing is guaranteed feels emotionally safe, even in silence. But now let's go deeper, because this next one destroys attraction faster than anything else. You ask indirect questions. You mad? Did I say something wrong? You still interested? It sounds harmless, but psychologically, it signals something powerful. You are outsourcing emotional stability. Mature women don't want to manage your self-worth. That's not romance, it's emotional labor. In relational psychology, this connects to external validation dependency, and over time, it becomes exhausting for her. Because now, she's not just dating you, she's regulating you. What to do instead? Learn to sit in uncertainty without collapsing into doubt. Not every shift in tone needs analysis. Not every silence needs interpretation. A grounded man doesn't ask for reassurance every time he feels discomfort. He observes, regulates, and continues. And ironically, that stability is what makes her feel closest to you. But there's a hidden pattern most men never see coming. Let me ask you something most people never think about. What if attraction isn't built by what you do, but by how emotionally predictable you feel over time? Because here's a counterintuitive truth from behavioral psychology. Unpredictability creates excitement in short bursts. But predictability creates safety in long-term attachment, and mature women are not chasing chaos. They've already lived through it. So if your emotional state feels like a roller coaster, she doesn't feel chemistry, she feels risk. Now let's continue, because this next one is even more subtle and even more damaging. You say something simple, she pauses, you immediately start explaining what you really meant. Then you add more context, then more reassurance. It feels like clarity to you, but to her, it feels like insecurity. Over-explaining is often rooted in fear of being misunderstood, but psychologically, it communicates that you don't trust your own communication. Mature women don't need perfect explanations. They need emotional steadiness in your presence. When a man constantly justifies himself, he subtly positions himself as unsure of his own frame. The shift is simple but powerful. Say less. Mean it. Let it land. If she misunderstands occasionally, that's normal. Emotional safety is not built through over-control. It's built through calm confidence in expression. And now we move into something even more invisible. You say you're fine. You say everything is okay. But your tone changes slightly. Your replies get shorter. Your energy becomes off. You think you're hiding it. But she feels it immediately. This is suppressed resentment, one of the strongest emotional disruptors in relationships, because it creates confusion. She doesn't know what changed, but she feels the shift. And uncertainty without explanation creates emotional distance. In psychology, this relates to emotional incongruence, when verbal expression doesn't match emotional state. The solution isn't pretending, it's processing. If something bothers you, acknowledge it internally before it leaks externally. Don't punish with distance. Don't express indirectly. A safe man is emotionally transparent internally, even when he chooses not to speak everything out loud. And now we reach the final pattern, the one that quietly ends most connections. At first, you show your best self. That's normal. But then it becomes a performance. You start trying to be impressive instead of present, funny instead of real, perfect instead of grounded. And slowly she starts to feel it. Because performance creates distance, authenticity creates connection. Mature women are highly sensitive to emotional authenticity. They can feel when a man is trying to win instead of simply being. In psychology, this connects to self-concept distortion, when behavior is driven by outcome rather than identity. The shift is subtle but life-changing. You don't perform to keep her. You express to connect. When you stop trying to be chosen, you finally become someone who is naturally chosen. And this is where everything starts to change. Here's what all of this really comes down to. Most men think emotional safety means being nice, being available, being agreeable, but mature women don't experience safety through softness alone. They experience it through emotional consistency, through a man who doesn't collapse under uncertainty, who doesn't shift his entire identity based on her reactions. Because at a deeper level, she's not just asking, do I like him? She's asking, does my nervous system feel calm around him or activated? And if it feels like unpredictability, pressure, emotional confusion, attraction doesn't survive. Not because she's harsh, but because the body always chooses regulation over intensity in the long term. And the most powerful truth is this. You don't become emotionally safe by trying to be perfect. You become emotionally safe by being internally stable enough that nothing external controls your center. That's what changes everything. If this resonated with you, it probably means you've recognized at least one pattern in yourself that you didn't see clearly before. And that awareness is where real change begins. Now I'm curious, which one of these 6 patterns do you think men struggle with the most without realizing it? Share it in the comments. I read them. And in the next video, we're going to break down something even deeper. Why emotionally unavailable women often feel the most addictive and how men accidentally reinforce that cycle without noticing. Until then, remember this. The goal isn't to become someone she can't leave. It's to become someone who doesn't lose himself even if she does.